Hello, everyone. My name is Tom Weitzel with Pratter. Thank you so much for joining us today. I greatly appreciate your time. It'll take us about 20 minutes to go through the presentation today. Please hold all questions until the end, and we'll open up for a formal Q&A. Without further ado, I'd like to just get started. Again, my name is Tom Weitzel with Pratter, and we get our name from the combination of two words: price matters. That is what we are all about. So what do we do here at Pratter? Pratter redirects employees to low-cost in-network providers for common medical procedures. And we do this in order to save money. So the big takeaways from that sentence are, number one, that we're looking at low-cost in-network providers. So we're not looking at that fly-by-night facility or one that has just been added to your network nobody's ever heard of. These facilities have been vetted by your carrier and are in network. Second piece from that statement is that we're going to look at is common medical procedures. So we're not going to ask anyone to change their primary care physician or redirect urgent care. We're simply going to look at those procedures which have no quality rating metric associated with them. So those procedures would be blood work, CT scans, x-rays, and some outpatient medical procedures. And next, one thing that sets us apart from our competitors here at Pratter is that we actually are a custom solution. We are not a one-size-fits-all type solution, and we are able to be customized because we actually acquire and analyze de-identified claims data, and we do this for multiple reasons. First reason is that we are able to determine which facilities and custom procedures to redirect. Not every organization is going to have the same opportunistic procedures and saving availabilities, so we want to make sure that we are recognizing those on a case-by-case basis. Second is that we are able to provide a return on investment and actual in-network cost variance because we are using your data or your client's data. Third, we display charge and claim allowables by carrier. We are the only ones out there in the space doing so. So instead of providing a red, yellow, and green light, or a range, or an estimate for cost, we are providing both the charge and the actual claim allowable by carrier, by procedure. Fourth is that we are able to analyze this data and perform what we call a medical cost savings analysis and present that to yourself and or the client. Lastly, we are able to scale on demand, by demand. We are currently only in about 10 states where we have full, robust data, but we do have a baseline of about 30% in all states across the country, and we are able to serve self-funded and fully funded. Please ask direct questions at the end, or please contact me directly, and we can talk about that further. So a little bit more about Pratter. Pratter was founded by a physician. Dr. Bill Hennessy has been practicing for 30+ years, and about 15 years ago started a medical billing company. And he went from hearing about the cost variance for common medical procedures from his patients, and then once the medical billing data started coming in, was able to see it with his own eyes. And that is really where the idea for Pratter was born. We then spent about 2.5 years in developing our back-end algorithms and our database, and launched about 14 months ago to the market. Now, what we're really trying to attack here is a misconception and the idea that we have not been conditioned in such a way that we know that we can compare cost and shop for things like we do anything else. So consumers have been conditioned to buy commodity care, and we don't really think about this, but when you go into your local doctor and you ask for it to get an x-ray, they say, okay, yeah, you definitely need an x-ray. That doctor is most likely going to pull out a little notebook, and the top of that notebook has a logo on it for his preferred hospital lab. And he's just going to check a box on it, hand it to you, say, here you go. When you walk out of the doctor's office, nice lady at the front desk might say, hey, Tom, in my case, when are you available? I'll go ahead and get you on the books in your calendar to get your lab work done. I say, no, you know what? It's okay. It's right next door. Don't want to worry about putting it in my calendar and forgetting about it. I'll just go get it done now. When I walk into that facility, before they'll see me, they ask me to sign a piece of paper. And essentially what that piece of paper says is feel free to charge me whatever you feel is fair. And if my insurance company denies my claim, which happens about 20% of the time on average, then you can charge me twice as much as you would have charged my insurance company. Now, I know it can be a little juvenile to walk through that process, but we have to some point, to realize what the end user, our employees, are up against daily. We need to educate them that they are able to shop, that they do not have to go to that doctor's preferred lab facility, and that they get the same results elsewhere with some major savings. Another major misconception that we have to address is that employees wrongly assume that in-network care is the same price if you go to location A versus location B. And we are going to let them know immediately that that's not the case. Okay. So just an overview of the Pratter process. We first send a request with 14 data items to the employer, I should say, and then that employer requests that data from their TPA or their carrier. Once that data is received, it is made searchable on our website and is also analyzed to perform the medical cost savings analysis. The medical cost savings analysis will provide our quantifiable return on investment, as well as identify the specific savings opportunities. We will then be able to go down into implementation, where we will schedule our training, be able to educate the workforce on the price variance that exists for in-network, talk about their customized saving cards, develop the incentive program, and you'll be assigned an account manager. And now employees are able to shop for common care. You'll also have an incentive plan reviewed monthly to make sure that everything is on track. And you'll receive the medical cost savings analysis on a quarterly basis as a Pratter client. So how does Pratter do what we do? How do we get employees to engage and change their behavior? Well, we start first off with our website. And very quickly, we're going to go ahead and do a demonstration of how we're able to search. So this is our website. If you come on, you're able to go ahead and log in. You'll be given the login information to each employee. And you'll see here, I go ahead and log in. Mine has been logged in for me. I'm going to go back to advanced search. And you'll have access to 625 different medical procedures on this website. Not all will be common, but you may want to know the price of an uncommon procedure, such as, for example, a hip surgery. Specifically, if you had co-insurance or if you had a big deductible. We don't mention these procedures as those that would be redirected, but you may just want to have a conversation with your surgeon regarding the location that you would like to have your surgery. So you can either go in and take a look. We're going to look for a lipid panel as an example. So I could go into this category here for blood work. Take a look here. You'll be able to search lipid panel and find the one, or you can go in and search by name. So I can just go ahead and type in lipid, and that's going to be the one that pops up there. Go ahead and insert my zip code, and you hit search. We have gone to great lengths to make sure that this is an easy process and a quick one most of the time, depending on your bandwidth here. And then we also make it an effort to educate the employees on what they're going to see here. Okay. Now we have it popped up. We do have some caveats here for certain procedures to educate that end user. For example, for blood work, the price listed does not include phlebotomy, which is the blood drawing fee, which is usually $10 to $20. But you are comparing apples to apples because that fee has not been added to any of these numbers below. We also need to educate everyone on the prices that you're going to see here. You'll also see that you're able to label these in-network versus out-of-network. For illustration purposes today, I'm going to show you several locations. And you can see here, you'll see a couple different colors as far as the pricing goes. The first one here is a charge amount, and this represents the total financial risk for an employee. We say that because if their claim is denied, which happens 20% on average in the US, then this is the amount that they will be charged. You'll also see a cash price here. This can be turned on and off like a light switch based on client preference and plan design. And third, you'll see this number here in blue. Because this is a demonstration, this number represents an average of the top 6 insurance company payments, so their claim allowable payments in this zip code. Once we have your information or your client's information available to us, we are able to put it into our database, and this number will be the actual claim allowable for that employer's plan for this procedure. So for example, for this amount, the charge amount would be $20 on average. For example, we would say it's 50% of charge. This amount would be $10, and so on. And as we go down, you're going to see several different facilities and their pricing variances. You'll see the in-networks, and our average is around $96 for this charge. And as we continue to go down, you're going to see where we get into a little bit of what I call outrageous pricing, and I would hope you would agree. We're still around our $98 price point here, but as we get towards the end, you're going to see us creep up to $233, $301, and we're going to top out here at $1,972 for a lipid panel. Now, granted, this is Children's Hospital, so we would not be looking to redirect any kind of urgent care. However, we would be looking to empower the employee with knowledge of pricing, so that, case in point, and this happened to me, I have been to this location 3 times, gotten blood work 3 times. The first time it was necessary. The other 2 times it was simply suggested that, you know, look, everything's okay. We just want to run blood work to make sure, and you can do it on your way out. $918 later, we learned a very important lesson. We passed by about 4 or 5 facilities on our hour-and-a-half drive home that we could have had the same procedure done for $21 cash, $25 charge amount, and you can see there. Again, I do not care where I go to get my blood work, as long as it's clean, safe, in network. Wherever I go, I always get the new person. They swell me up the size of a golf ball. I really do not care, especially for a difference between $21 and $1,900. So for example, let's look at a CT scan also. While I'm in a search, I can go over to the left-hand side and select another procedure. Go ahead and select chest CT with contrast. Now, for demonstration purposes, I have vetted the results you're about to see. All facilities are using a machine manufactured by GE and is less than 7 years old for depreciation purposes. Now, what you're going to see here also is that these facilities also have a major range, even though we're using the same machine. We could go in for as little as $525 charge amount, $275 cash price. And as we proceed, you're going to see us get closer to $1,500, $1,890, $2,738, and we're going to top out all the way at $7,615. Now, again, this is UPMC facilities. This begs another question. If we have the same owners of these facilities, why does the price vary so much? Okay. And again, these are the facilities that we are trying to redirect and educate our workforce on the variance there within. Now, that is how we search. This is also able to be white labeled. We can put your company organization information here. We also have an app that is available to be deployed via email. Now, going back to our engagement methods, now we can have the best website and best mobile app in the world as well as the best pricing in the world, but if we can't get employees to change their behavior and to engage, it is pointless. Therefore, we have 5 proven engagement methods, number 1 being our website and mobile app. Number 2 is our cost concierge service. You will have trained medical billers that are able to answer the phone and redirect you or your employees to the lowest cost in-network facility for a given medical procedure. These medical billers are also able to schedule that appointment. They can also field carrier questions and redirect to the carrier if they cannot answer a question. Number 3 is our low-tech and highly effective engagement method, our Pratter savings cards. And as you can see here, what we have done is, and this is by company, we take a look at the procedures which we have decided through analysis are your highest opportunities for savings. And we put those on this card along with those which we know have a high opportunity for savings, x-rays, blood work, and MRIs. And we have gone ahead and listed the preferred low-cost facilities we would like you to visit as an employee. So the front of this has the organization name, Pratter logo, phone number, and your plan ID. And this is meant to be a companion to your insurance carrier card. So it's the size of a business card, fits right in the wallet or purse, and it is your quick reference. So if I need an x-ray, I should go to one of these facilities here. If I need an MRI, I should go to one of these facilities here. The beauty of this system is that you do not have to go. This is not a narrow network, but by educating your employer workforce on the variance that exists out there, that there is no quality aspect to these procedures, and beyond that, that if I have a high deductible, I'm going to save some money out of my pocket. If I have a low deductible, it brings us into number 4, which we pair this with financial incentives. Our favorite being a copay reduction or elimination for these facilities. So if you go to these facilities, you have no copay. An excellent way to redirect your employees. Other options include HSA, FSA reimbursement, premium reduction or elimination, and of course, gift cards or cash. This is a taxable option, and this is the one that we use in this example here. We will have the respective amounts by facility, by procedure next to the facilities on the card. Number 5, we also throw in a communication plan because it is extremely important, again, because we have been conditioned in such a way not to shop for this like we do anything else. We must educate our workforce and keep them engaged and remind them of what we're doing and what it'll take to keep the great benefits that they have. Just a moment on our current engagement levels. We do have 3 ongoing case studies for 2017. You can see here that all 3 employers and their union or non-union and age information is listed below. Employer 1 is not using an incentive program, and it is reflected in their engagement levels. Employers 2 and 3 are. You can also see that these calculations are based on healthcare enrolled employee population, not on just those seeking care, and it also does not include dependents in these calculations. Okay. Competitive differentiators, we have several of them. One I previously mentioned is that we are a custom solution. Second is that we actually display claim allowables and charge rates, which none of our competitors are doing. And another differentiator that is very important is that we are not tied with any carrier. As many of our competitors are, our definition of transparency means that you cannot be tied to a carrier because of conflict of interest. One area that is not mentioned on this slide also is our competitive difference between ourselves and cost comparison tools offered by carriers. The best answer to any objection as to whether we are needed versus if you have a cost comparison tool in place is simply how much money was saved using it last year and how much money are you expected to save using it this year. Pratter is all about price and savings. While we are an employee benefit and we do provide employees with the basic right to budget and also to shop, we are a savings company, and that is what we do. On that note, I would now like to go into an example of our medical cost savings analysis, which will identify the exact savings opportunities available for a given client. And the medical cost savings analysis, MCSH for short, can also be used as a sales tool. If you're able to have access to the de-identified data before first meeting, we can analyze the data and provide this back to you within a 48-hour time period so that you will be able to present using the absolute return on investment and knowing the opportunity that exists for in-network price variance for common medical procedures. So in this example that you see here, we are looking at a 3,300 life case on the Ohio-Pennsylvania line. This is a current client, and they have a $7.9 million medical spend, not including prescriptions. You can see here we've broken it down into categories. And where we're really able to provide some business intelligence comes into the top 10 procedures by dollar amount spent and the top 10 procedures by frequency. The first teaching point here is that 10 procedures alone account for $3.2 million of an $8 million spend. Sometimes we are so concerned with the catastrophic claims, the preemies, the cancer claims, that we forget sometimes about that Starbucks coffee that we may be having every day. This is a way to uncover those Starbucks coffees. So once we take a look here, we're going to see in our number 1 and 2 spots for by dollar amount spent are our office visits. These are sacred relationships, and we would not be able to redirect even if we wanted to. But coming in at number 3 is physical therapy. Now, for this client, they spent $340,000 plus at an average of $116 per exercise on physical therapy. We would be able to show the client, or arm you if you're presenting to the client, with 3 or 4 different facilities within 20 miles that would be able to offer these same procedures for, let's say, $40, and that is a real number in this area. So we're able to take this amount of $340,000 and cut it down by almost 2/3. So we would be able to say we could easily save you $200,000 on physical therapy alone just by going to the lowest cost in-network provider. Another example comes down here where we get into comprehensive metabolic panel. They spent $235,000 at $144 average. We can do much better than $144. If we conservatively say $40 yet again, we could save well over 2/3 again of $235,000. We go down then to the top 10 procedures by frequency. You'll see again $2.5 million of an $8 million spend. We will have some overlap here from the previous top 10 procedures, but we will have some new ones come out. One of which is a lipid panel. We searched for a lipid panel just a few minutes ago, and you know just from that search that $102 average is a little high, and we could do much better than that. If we conservatively say $25, we can cut $150,000 by 75%. As we continue, we are also going to provide other information which is going to help this employer with business intelligence and also with a multi-year plan. Pratter does work best with multi-year plans and brokers which are able to take this information and manage it. We measure it, you manage it. So if we take a look at where your funds are being spent by hospital, we are also going to provide the percent of those funds which were used for blood work, imaging, and elective medical procedures, so that you can keep an eye on where all of your funds are being spent and what for. We do the same analysis by frequency. You can see here. And this is where we're able to actually sum up the opportunity as it exists case by case. So if we take the top 10 procedures by cost, 3.2 million, the top 10 procedures by frequency, 2.5, take out any procedures which we do not redirect, total up all elective care to 7 million. If every single time in a glass bubble, in a perfect world, every employee went to the lowest cost in-network provider, this group last year would have saved $3.56 million out of $7 million of total elective care spend. And yes, that is over half. Now that was in a perfect world. To actually present to the client, we want to make sure that they have an attainable and realistic expectation. Based on our ongoing engagement methods, 25% is highly attainable in year 1, if not Q1, if not month 1. So we can say with quite certainty that an $890,000 savings can be realized at 25% and 1.7 at 50%. Now, this is an in-network calculation. We will also perform an out-of-network calculation. There's obviously an added administrative burden if you are to go out of network or add a facility to your network, but if it will result in a savings of $750,000, we may want to consider it, and we'll most definitely bring it to your attention. That concludes our presentation today. Do we have any questions?